17 and 18, connection and exploration. And when I read these, so in the book, I didn't do a very long explanation. They're pretty short paragraphs. And so sometimes when I'm trying to decide how much to include in each video, how much text to include, I was like, oh, these are pretty short. And then I read connection, like one of my highest values, and then exploration also.
Yeah, it's really funny how you just put little, like a drop. Oh yeah, here's the context. It's huge, but it's one drop in the book.
But we know that you're going to be putting your own world of context into it. And your world of context is going to help you so much more than my world would. And so you might even look at connection and exploration and just brush right past them and be like, okay, yeah, those are not really my thing, but they're Stacy's thing.
So tell us, Stacey.
Okay, connection. Oh, it's always, like, I want to say always been one of my highest priorities, and probably my most highest priority. Just when I'm with someone, to be with them 100%, to feel connected. And then whether that's through words or touch or service or, but however it happens, but just the connection. And words I love words. I love just gushing what I say. Is that a real thing? I love gushing over people. Just everything I can think of that I love about them. I love to just dump over their head like a bucket of warm water. Like I love, and not everyone loves it.
Give you that bucket of ice water.
Yeah, not everyone. They get really shy and embarrassed, and it's like and then in my head I'm always like, yeah, but they love it later. Maybe they don't. I don't know, but I love to do it, and it's my way of connecting, my way of feeling that hug, verbal hug. So as much as I can, I let people know the things I admire and appreciate about them, and whenever they do something, outstanding, then I want to be the first to congratulate them and tell them how amazing they are, and just, yeah, I love connection.
Yeah, I was thinking once when Bethel and I were with you in downtown Bangkok, and we came out of a mall, and we saw this guy who's in really good shape, and we thought he could be older, but we weren't sure. So we were just kind of talking, oh, I wonder how old that guy is. And Stacy's like, oh yeah, I wonder too. So she goes over to talk to him and ask him, because that connection, there's no sense of, oh, I can't talk to him, he's a stranger, I have no connection with him. We were really impressed at how she just, it doesn't matter who it is, she can connect with them.
Yeah, I love to connect to people I don't know yet. Like going up to anyone and just admiring something I see in them or something. I just love to just talk to anyone, everyone. I do. I compliment anyone and have a connection, and it's like there's no barrier there. There's no, oh, I don't know them. It's just not yet. And one of my favorite holidays is Songkran in Thailand, where you spray each other with water, and you also spread white paste on each other's faces. And so, like, to be able to go up to perfect strangers and touch their face, like, oh, I love it. Yeah.
I guess they might not be doing
they
that
might
for a while,
not.
But it was really fun when we got to do it.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
It was amazing. Yes, just being able to feel that connection, openness, sharing, trust, and then actually this ties into exploration, because being able to explore the world like I have, there needs to be a certain level of connection between all of the people, me and the people, because I'm putting myself basically in vulnerable positions when I travel alone, especially when I do everywhere we go. Well, only did once in LA.
Oh.
At night. So you be careful at night in certain places, but Bangkok at night, Israel at night, no problem. I was all over the city. So
Islands of Malaysia?
Yeah, I went to islands in Malaysia all by myself. I didn't know the language. I went to a non-touristy island where no one spoke a word of English, and we used hand gestures and fingers to figure out the lodging, and it was absolutely incredible. It was the most amazing experience. Wow. Yeah. So, yeah. It opens doors to limitlessness and fun, yes. In any direction you choose, yes. Anywhere you want to explore.
Exploring physically, or we're exploring ideas.
Yeah, exploring ideas, which having an openness to new ideas is you need for this so much.
Yeah, if you have to feel, if certainty is kind of a comfort, or a protective blanket or a shield, if you feel like you have to have certainty, then you won't be willing to unlearn things that may not be serving you, and unlearn them in the process of exploring ideas that could improve.
Yes, and I wanted to mention my process of asking questions, because I've been posting my questions and maybe you didn't remember why does Stacy have so many questions? And it's because it does that for me. It helps me explore ideas, and whenever I ask a question like that, I try as much as possible to not go on preconceived notions, like what did I used to think this meant, but try to bring a blank slate to the question and say, if I don't know, what could I learn by thinking about it now? And that space of not knowing it's uneven ground for some people, and even for me at the beginning, like to put yourself in the position of not knowing so that you can know, it's a little intimidating at the beginning. People might say it's overwhelming, but it's a skill that you get better at with practice.
Yeah, it's a lot of the questions could seem a little bit obvious, like
yes.
What is a book?
Yes, they're that obvious.
But it's like if I had no concept of book, what could I imagine it, or how could I explore that idea in a way that could bring me new insights? So just being willing to do that, being willing to let go of what you think you know for a moment of willing suspension of belief. This is like the opposite of suspension of disbelief. Willing of suspension of belief, just in order to consider new opportunity, new ways to look at it, new lenses, new opportunities to grow.
Yeah. And if you think of each word as a vessel of containing a whole bunch of information, each word it doesn't just bring with it a definition, a black and white dictionary definition. It brings with it a whole bunch of meaning. And so when you explore a word as if you don't know what it means, you can pry apart and go, what is all the meaning I'm bringing to it? And then try to decide what part of that meaning is serving you. And it's really powerful when you're learning a new concept, a new language, a new way of being, because up is a new way of being, and you will bring vessels that have the traditional system it's saturated in that word. Words like and dislike are just soaked in the traditional system. So you need to, it's fun to look at your words and pull it apart and
unpack the suitcase.
Yeah.
and see, do you really want all of that in your suitcase?
Yes.
Yeah. So just a quick example, the word mask. If you were to think about the word mask last year, the meaning that we'd packed into the suitcase would be so
like
different.
Halloween masks, probably.
Or all kinds of the thing you put on your face at night.
Yes.
But people who do
the beauty mask.
Beauty mask, yeah. But the word mask wouldn't bring the same meaning inside the suitcase that it does today.
Yeah.
And other words, all kinds of But every word that you have, especially you make a new friend named Bob. Now the word Bob has different meaning inside of it and stuff. So that's what Stacy does, is even though she already had a suitcase for the word book, she's like, well, let me just unpack it and make sure this is everything that I want. Is there anything missing I want to put in it? Is there anything in it I don't want in it? Yes. And then I'll put it back together and say, okay.